What if the classic rules of the animal kingdom, predator versus prey, species sticking to their own, just didn't apply? We're taught to see nature in a certain way, but every so often, something happens that turns it all on its head. A bond forms between two animals you'd never expect to see in the same frame, let alone as best buddies. Get ready, because today we're diving into the most heartwarming and unlikely animal friendships on the planet, proving that a true connection can overcome just about anything. Bubbles the elephant and Bella the dog. Our first story takes place at the Myrtle Beach Safari in South Carolina, and it starts with Bubbles, an African elephant. Her backstory is tough. She was rescued as a calf back in 1981 after her family was lost to ivory poachers. For a long time, even in the safety of the sanctuary, Bubbles was missing the social connection that elephants thrive on. Then, in 2007, a little black lab puppy named Bella came into her life. Reportedly, the puppy was left behind by a contractor who was hired to build a pool for Bubbles, and that very pool became their favorite hangout. Their bond was instant. The two became completely inseparable, and their favorite game was a unique version of fetch. Bubbles would use her trunk to sling a tennis ball across the water, and Bella, full of energy, would leap off of Bubbles' back or even her head to go get it. A dog using a 4-ton elephant as a personal diving board pretty much says it all. That level of trust and joy you just can't make up. For years, their friendship has shown everyone that family isn't about looking the same. It's about finding a kindred spirit. Suryia the orangutan and Roscoe the dog. It turns out, South Carolina is a hot spot for these kinds of stories. At another preserve called TIGERS, which stands for the Institute of Greatly Endangered and Rare Species, we meet Suryia the orangutan. Like us, orangutans are incredibly social and intelligent, sharing 97% of our DNA. One day, a skinny, lost blue tick hound wandered onto the property. The staff named him Roscoe. You might expect a dog to be afraid of a large primate, but Roscoe wasn't. And Suryia, instead of being wary, walked right over to the stray dog and made a friend. No one ever came to claim Roscoe, so he found his forever home right there with Suryia. Their friendship became legendary. They did everything together, wrestled, swam, and Suryia would even share his monkey biscuits with Roscoe. In one of the most incredible sights, Suryia would take Roscoe for walks, holding his leash just like a person would. Their bond got so famous they ended up on TV and even had a book published about them. It just goes to show, sometimes your best friend just wanders into your life when you need them most. Be the Giraffe and Wilma the Ostrich. From canines and primates, let's move to a friendship that literally stands tall. At Busch Gardens in Florida, on a massive 65-acre Serengeti exhibit, two very different residents decided they were better together. Meet Bee, a graceful giraffe, and Wilma, a speedy ostrich. In a huge enclosure where most animals stick with their own kind, Bee and Wilma became a duo. They were almost always seen side by side, exploring their home together despite having acres of space to themselves. Zookeepers think their shared natural curiosity might have sparked the friendship, but it clearly grew into something more than just curiosity. It was a genuine, quiet friendship. Bee, like many giraffes, often used her long tongue to explore things, and Wilma the ostrich was completely unfazed by these close encounters. Their peaceful companionship is a sweet reminder that you don't have to be remotely alike to be the best of friends. Sometimes, you just need to be in the same place at the same time and decide to share the journey. The unbelievable story of Amur the tiger and Timur the goat. Now, if you thought the other stories were wild, this next one sounds like it was pulled from a fairy tale. In a safari park in far eastern Russia, a Siberian tiger named Amur was about to get his dinner. To keep his hunting instincts sharp, he was fed live prey, and on this day a goat was sent into his enclosure. But this goat, later named Timur, did something incredible. He showed zero fear. Instead of running, he stood his ground. Amur, a powerful predator, was completely baffled and didn't attack. For days, the staff watched, thinking nature would take its course, but it never did. Instead of becoming lunch, Timur became a companion. The two were inseparable, and their story captured the heart of an entire country. In a wild twist, the fearless goat actually kicked the tiger out of his own shelter and took it for himself, leaving Amur to sleep on the roof. They take morning walks together and even gently headbutt each other as a sign of affection. Sadly, their story took a turn. After Timur got a little too bold and picked a fight, they had to be separated for their own safety. Timur passed away from natural causes a few years later, and there were even plans for a bronze statue in his honor, a monument to the brave goat who became a friend instead of a meal. The playful otters and the gentle orangutans. Our last stop is the Perry Days Zoo in Belgium, where a smart idea from the keepers turned into one of the most fun-loving friendships imaginable. The zoo has a family of orangutans who, like all orangutans, are incredibly smart and need to be kept engaged. So the zookeepers decided to let a family of Asian small-clawed otters live in the river that runs through the orangutans' enclosure. The result was pure joy. The playful otters love to climb out of the river onto the orangutans' island to play with their big, gentle neighbors. They chase each other, play hide-and-seek, and just generally hang out. Zookeepers say the project has been a huge success, making life more fun and interesting for both the otters and the orangutans. It's a perfect example of how different animals can enrich each other's lives, creating a happy little community built on the simple joy of playtime. These stories are just incredible, aren't they? It's amazing to see how friendship can show up in the most unexpected ways. If these stories made you smile, go ahead and hit that like button. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss our next adventure into the animal world. We want to hear from you, too. Which one of these unlikely duos was your favorite? Drop a comment below. From elephants and dogs to tigers and goats, the animal kingdom is clearly full of surprises. These friendships completely challenge our ideas about instinct. They pop up out of shared experiences, a sudden rescue, or sometimes just the simple, universal need for a friend. They show us that powerful connections can be found in the most unlikely places, proving that empathy and companionship are spoken by all creatures, no matter their size or species.